Hey guys, welcome to this week's edition of the Coffee and Hero Show, bringing you the What's New in This Week video now. This is actually being recorded on the Tuesday night. Delivery arrived today. It was a little later than normal. It didn't arrive until about 2:45. Anybody who follows us on social media will certainly have seen how I put up a photo of an actual crate of stuff that is actually arriving for us now, a full pallet. And that's pretty much weekly now. You know, deliveries are getting bigger and bigger. Obviously, a lot of that's down to you guys putting your trust in us, coming back to us time and time again for the pull lists, knowing that we'll have the latest graphic novels in, knowing that we'll have tons of recommendations in. So, of course, we always want to make sure the store is as packed as possible. So these big deliveries are only going to keep getting bigger by the look of it. So, yeah, tons to sort out. Vicky and I managed to get all of the single issues bagged and boarded before leaving on the Tuesday, but I had to bring the graphic novels home just to process them. So that's why you're getting the What's New in This Week video from home, and you'll get the pull list video tomorrow. I'll put that out tomorrow when I have a chance to go through all the single issues, do all the pull lists for everyone, which I'll do tomorrow morning before we open. But so much good stuff came in this week in terms of graphic novels and so forth. Some of our favorite titles of last year have now hit trade paperback, so I'm going to take you through what we've got anyway. But as I say, as usual, it's a real mix of, you know, stuff we're getting back in for the store. Brand new releases this week. There's one absolutely beautiful hardcover Omnibus out this week, which I'll leave until last. Undoubtedly the biggest release this week, I would say. Just for anybody watching this, just in case you haven't seen on social media, we will have slightly reduced opening hours on Thursday and Friday this week. Thursday, we're there until around 2:30. We have an appointment around 3 o'clock. And then on Friday, Vic and I are off to England for a few days to see her family for the first time in what seems like forever. So we'll be closing that day around 12:30. Keith will be in, and the store will be open as normal on the Saturday and on the Monday. And then we're back the Monday night, and we'll be back in ready to go on the Tuesday. So just keep that in mind if you're popping down. As I say, Thursday we'll be there until about 2:30. And on Friday there till about 12:30, just those slightly reduced hours. But yeah, just to take you through the stuff that came in this week, as I say. So I mentioned one of these last week, and we've got another volume in this week of the Jim Butcher's Dresden Files, which is the urban magic type stuff. New original story once again. This one is called Dogman. So this is a release through Dynamite Comics. And again, this is a nice hardcover there to kick things off. I had a few DC hardcovers I had to get back in stock this week. That have sold over the last week or two really, really well. So first of all, we have the Seastead Planet. I'm a big fan of these hardcover collections that they do. It's an absolute masterclass in spine design as well for all you OCD people out there, like me. So yeah, this was the complete sequel to Deceased. You had Deceased, then Deceased Unkillables, then the Seastead Planet, and then you've got Hope at World's End, which is a digital collection that got put into print. But the Seastead Planet back in stock this week. I have a feeling that I'm just going to have to order this nearly every single week now, because every single week I get at least 5 or 6 copies of it in. Every single week it's sold out, and with good reason. So Nightwing, Leaping into the Light, so the first hardcover volume of the Tom Taylor Bruno Redondo. Amazing title, just again, can't recommend it highly enough. Got another 6 copies in again this week, and again I expect them probably be done by the weekend, especially because Keith's in on Saturday, and that man loves a recommendation, and he also loves Nightwing, because he's got good taste, of course. Another couple I had to get back in stock, and good timing as well, because the previews books arrived this week as well. And with the previews books, I've done new previews boards in the store. They're just behind the counter now. So one of the things with the previews is that it's almost like some people didn't realize we actually did a previews board, but we do one every single month. So we pick out what we're looking forward to most. We try not to pick out too many things, because otherwise you're just recommending the whole book. But I changed the format slightly from now on, so it's going to be 6 DC and 6 Marvel, and then a selection of indie titles, again around 12, spread across different publishers. But again, it'll be just behind me at the counter, so if you're, you know, settling up for stuff, or you're ordering a coffee or whatever, the board's right there, and again, that always gives us an idea of stuff to order for everyone. And the reason I mentioned the previews board is because this month they're previewing, or they have available for pre-order, Batman Beyond the White Knight, which of course is the full 3rd volume of Sean Murphy's Murphyverse, so to speak. I would say it's the 4th personally, because Batman Harley Quinn, although it's written by his wife Katana Collins and drawn by Matteo Scalera and is a side story, it's not a side story at all. It's set 2 years after the events of Curse. For me, you need to read them all. But anyway, I was getting back in stock this week the first 2 volumes. So Again, beautiful hardcovers. You've got Batman White Knight, the one that started it all. The Joker Goes Sane. And then you've got Batman Curse of the White Knight, which brings in Azrael as well. And a lot of interesting stuff for the Wayne's history. So yeah, getting those back in stock again. And again, the Beyond the White Knight is available for pre-order now. One of the books of the week, undoubtedly, and one of my favourite books of last year. I talked about it all the time in the podcast. I mentioned it to anybody who's in store who'll listen. And the price point they've released it at, which is £11, is frankly a steal. And that is The Many Deaths of Lila Starr. So this is from Ram V and Felipe Andrade. I can't say enough good stuff about this book. It was a 5-issue mini-series. It explored so many different themes of life, of, you know, life well lived, of changing destiny. It's just an incredible book. Each issue was set at a different time frame as years would pass in between each issue. And again, cannot recommend enough. And at that price, one of the books of 2021, as I say. So I mentioned last week as well, we got a ton of Halo stuff in. So one of the volumes was called Halo Escalation, and we get sent volumes 1 and 4 last week. Well, this week we've received volume 2, and then somewhere along this pile will be volume 3 as well. So for all you Halo fans out there, that'll now be complete. Next up, we have another Epic collection. So I'm a big fan of these. These are essentially full-color reprints of classic Marvel stories, or in some cases, other stories that maybe came from Dark Horse or that came from, you know, IDW, but now Marvel own the rights to. So for this one, this is from Conan Chronicles. This is collecting Conan the Avenger 1 to 19. So this was written 2014 to 2015. So this would have been during the Dark Horse era, but it's now being printed under the Marvel Epic Collection label. So again, that's a full 19 issues altogether in one Epic collection. Anybody who knows me knows I'm going to talk about Deadly Class at every possible opportunity. This is volume 10, which looks likely to be the second last volume. The single issues of this recently have just been so good. I mean, again, I recommend that everyone who'll listen. 10 volumes deep. Again, we try to keep all the volumes in store so you guys can jump on at any point. But yeah, this series just gets better and better, and I'm really not ready for it to end. Next up is another Boom one, and again, it's at that £11 price point. Boom seem to be doing this more and more, this £11 price point. Again, there'll be more examples as I go down with another big label title. But this one is Basilisk, which is a horror title. It's the first 4 issues all together, written by Cullen Bunn, who just seems to write everything under the sun. And Jonas Scharf is on art, very creepy artwork to that as well. So really cool title, Basilisk. One for all you horror fans. Just as I say, Boom are great with the £11 price point. We have £13 price point, but this is their Power Rangers line. So Power Rangers for Boom has been a really big title. It's been getting bigger in our stores, certainly. And with Ram Parrot taking over, these are both volume 3s released. So you have Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers. You basically do need to read both. It's essentially one big title that interlinks, but they do put it under the two different titles. But yeah, I think they've done that because it means you can split your artists. So with Mighty Morphin, you've got Marco Ren on art, and with Power Rangers, you've got Francesco Mortorino. So it means that it'll never miss a shipping date, that kind of thing. As promised, Halo Volume 3. So Halo Escalation, that is the complete saga in store. Next up, we have Black Cat. I hear nothing but great things about Black Cat, especially from Jed McKay. CF Villa on art for this one as well. This would have been around the Infinity storyline, the Infinity Stone storyline. The Infinity Score, I believe it was called. So what this one contains is issues 8 to 10, but also there was a giant size, massive issue, Black Cat of Infinity Score as well. Just putting these in boxes as I go. The joys of a slippy plastic box. Next up is Non-Stop Spider-Man. So this was a 5-issue miniseries that is going to lead into, I believe, Savage Spider-Man. And this one is by Joe Kelly. Chris Bacallo on art. Dale Eaglesham did some fill-in art as well. But yeah, 5-issue storyline, very fast-paced, introduced some new characters, and a little bit of a twist on the Spider-Man mythology, which, if I'm completely honest, you're either going to love or you're going to hate. I wasn't a fan. Talking myself out of sales here. But no, some people loved it. Just wasn't for me. Next up from Al Ewing, we have Gamma Flight, of course, coming out of the pages of Immortal Hulk. So this one is a 5-issue miniseries. Al Ewing, Crystal Fraser, Lam Medina, and Antonio Favela. And that's the complete 5-issue miniseries of that. So if you're a fan of the Immortal Hulk, this was a great spin-off series. And of course, written by Immortal Hulk creator, Al Ewing. Speaking of books of 2021 and 2020 and any year it comes out, That Texas Blood. So we have volume 2 now of That Texas Blood, fresh out this week. Volume 1s I got back in stock last week just to make sure we have them all. Again, I'm sick banging the drum here of how good this title is. You need this in your life. It is some of the best comics out there at the moment. This contains issues 7 to 12, I should say. First volume is 1 to 6. So, yeah, can't say enough about Sheriff Joe Bob. This one was a flashback issue going back to the early 80s when there was a string of murders happening in Ambrose County and a lot of cult activity. Again, can't say enough. In Image's top 5 titles at the moment, easily, possibly even their top 3. Another great Image title that came out not too long ago we speak very highly of is Middle West. This is 3 books in total. It was 18 issues. Written by Scotty Young, art by Jorge Corona. Of course, they teamed up again recently with The Me You Love in the Dark, but this was where they first got together as a creative force, and a brilliant, brilliant book. First volume, £9 again. It's going through that Image price pointing as well. Another epic collection is next up. So this is the second volume of Moon Knight. So this covers 1981 to 1982. So what have we got in here? We've got Moon Knight number 5 to 23. So the first volume's in store as well. So we've got Moon Knight from the very beginning. A lot of people are boning up on Moon Knight at the moment. Obviously the TV show's on its way. You've got the new Jed MacKay series that's 6 issues deep for the single issues. But if you want to go right back to the start again, these epic collections are the way to go for it. Another one of my favourite books from last year, The 6 Sidekicks of Trigger Keaton. So this was a love letter to 80s nostalgia, a love letter to TV from the 80s. Had tons of humour, a lot of heart, interesting characters. Essentially, Trigger Keaton was an absolute scumbag of an actor who worked through the 80s, 90s, 2000s. And he had different sidekicks for different TV shows. You know, in one case, they tried to reinvigorate things by giving him a female sidekick. With one, they tried to, you know, give him a hippie sidekick. It changed. One was a child actor. And now Trigger Keaton's been found dead, and the 6 sidekicks are the 6 main suspects. But yeah, brilliant, brilliant book. Kyle Starks and Chris Schweizer for that one. Inevitable, there's a volume of The Walking Dead every week. Again, we try to keep 1 to 32 in stock at all times, so we'll have the entire run on the shelves. So number 24, just plug in some gaps there. Next up, from Robbie Thompson and Eduardo Pansica, we have Suicide Squad. So this was the Infinite Frontier set Suicide Squad. This contains, I believe, issues 1 to 6, but also Future State Suicide Squad 1 and 2. So you're getting 8 issues in this, so really good value. This is a new Suicide Squad team. You've got Peacemaker in there. You've got Talon, which I thought was a really, really interesting idea to throw in there as well. You've got Superboy, which makes it interesting. So yeah, 8 issues in total for Suicide Squad. A really good jumping on point if you're looking at a wee bit of Suicide Squad. Mentioned the Epic Collection. So just as Moon Knight Volume 2 came out this week, and Volume 1 was already in store, 2 weeks ago Venom Volume 2 came out, but this was Venom Volume 1. So this covers the symbiosis. So this is the start of Venom. This is material from Spider-Man 258, 300, 315, 317. Tons of material from different Spider-Man series, just giving you the introduction to the character Venom. And then Volume 2 that came out recently is Lethal Protector. So again, we just want to try and have both volumes in stock at all times where we can. Again, just similar to, I think Nightwing's going to be ordered in every single week. It seems like every single week I'm having to reorder Something Is Killing the Children. This series is a beast. It is showing no signs of slowing down. Issue 21 just got solicited this month for a return in March. You've got the spin-off series House of Slaughter, but the volumes themselves again are that boom price point, £11 at a time, and that's for all volumes. It's not. Some people are a little bit snickety about Image, for example. They'll do the first volume at £9, but then it's like they get you. So the volumes after that are £14, £15, thereabouts. But Boom seem to be very consistent with this. So £11, volume 1 to 3, all back in stock. And the reason they're all back in stock is because Boom volume 4 is this week. This is the best arc so far for me. This is the origin story for Erica Slaughter. This is how she became a part of the House of Slaughter. Brilliant storytelling. The reason it's such a beast and showing no signs of slowing down is because it's so good. People are coming to it late, but the trades are widely available. You know, the worry is always that, you know, Volume 4 or something comes out and then, you know, Volume 1's out of print or something like that. But that's not the case with this. They seem to be keeping it in print a lot and therefore making it really accessible for people. Back in stock again after selling out today, Spider-Man Life Story, Chip Zdarsky hardcover. Again, covers issues 1 to 6 of this amazing Spider-Man series, but it's also including the Spider-Man Life Story Annual as well. And then that just brings us to our final item, and this is definitely one of the biggest items ever for the store. You know, we get requests all the time from people for certain storylines, for certain runs. You know, there's a lot of runs in comics that are rightly, you know, held up as great examples for characters. You know, you've got the Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo run on Batman, for example. You've got the Peter J. Tomasi, pardon me, Patrick Gleason run on Superman. You've got, you know, all these great runs. Frank Miller on Daredevil. You've got all these brilliant runs. And one of the ones we were always asked about was the Brian Michael Bendis, Mark Bagley run on Ultimate Spider-Man. Now, Ultimate Spider-Man has been an absolute pain in the butt to try and get any volumes of. They're consistently out of print, consistently fetching high prices on the second-hand market, which makes it a pain for people who want to get into it. Well, I ordered 10 of these for the store. 4 of them are claimed already. That's a lie. 5 of them are claimed already. And for such a big ticket item, it shows how in demand this is. What I'm talking about is the Ultimate Spider-Man Omnibus. This thing is gorgeous. It is 39 issues of Ultimate Spider-Man, plus the half issue as well. So this is all drawn by Mark Bagley. It's all written by Brian Michael Bendis. This is held up time and time again as a shining example of how good Spider-Man stuff can be. I mean, I remember a little while back, we were doing a couple of different podcast starting points, which I really need to get back to. But I did a Batman one, and Keith did a Spider-Man one. And he was given 3 examples of Spider-Man stories to start with, and this was one of them. And there was a part of me who was just thinking, because it's so hard to find, so hard to get. But now it's back in print. They're releasing omnibuses. This is great to see. It's a pricey omnibus. It's $125. That equates to £110. But we try to knock off where we can. You know, we've discounted it down to $100. So we've knocked a tenner off it. They've already solicited for volume 2 as well. So this looks like it's going to be collecting the whole thing. You know, the worry sometimes is if they do a volume 1, they may not continue with a volume 2. But that doesn't seem to be the case with this. Volume 1 is right here. I've got one for myself as well, because of course I do. But volume 2 has been solicited, so at least you can jump into it knowing that when you get to the end, at least the next one's on its way. So Ultimate Spider-Man, you know, in terms of like omnibus collections, it's by far been the most requested in store, you know, for information or for news. The one that was closest to it was All New Wolverine, the Tom Taylor run on Wolverine, Laura Kinney, X-23, Becoming Wolverine. And that came out last year, and again sold really well, with 1 or 2 of those left in store. I think it might be out of print now, but I'm not sure. But yeah, Ultimate Spider-Man's always been the one ever since we opened our doors. When's it coming out? So it is now out. That was the main cover, but we've also ordered in the 2 variant covers as well. So there's one that features Venom, and then there's an alternative Spider-Man one as well. So yeah, so tons of stuff ordered in this week, as I say. Brought it all home to get it all priced and ready, so it's going on the racks tomorrow morning. And pull list should be done as well by the time we're open. So again, this is the what's new in this week video. These are all on the shelves, 12th of January. And check back tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have my pull list video done as well. So anyway, hope you guys are staying safe out there. Hope this proved useful to keep you up to date with what's out this week. And I look forward to seeing you in store soon. So take it easy.